Welcome back to another episode of Recapping 90 Day Fiance. Now, if you feel like you didn't see me much last week, that is simply because you did not. 90 Day Fiance did not air last weekend because Taylor Swift's boyfriend was playing in some kind of big game? I don't know. They call it the Super Bowl. It's apparently a big deal. I'm only joking. I know what the Super Bowl is. Do not at me. Anyway, we are now back to our regularly programmed scheduling, so without further ado, sit down, buckle up, and let's all go for a ride. Let's head on over to Sam and Citra. Last episode, Sam converted to Islam without the support of his mother, and Citra's father gave them his blessing to go on and get married, so they went ahead and had their Muslim wedding. Sam and Citra are now on their way to their American wedding ceremony, and Citra's sister asks her to explain the process of the American wedding. So Sam goes on to explain that, the priest will ask them if they take each other's hands in marriage, they'll say their I do's, and then they will kiss for real in front of everybody. Citra's dad overhears this and tells them that he will not allow a Christian priest to marry the two.
Film yang kalau misalkan nikah kan ada di sini bilang mau bersedia nggak jadi istri.
Kan udah kemarin di masjid.
Sam tells him they did try to get an imam to marry them, but they could not secure one due to asking with such short notice, and so a Christian pastor is all they could get. Herman is not pleased and says he will not allow another holy book to be a part of this ceremony, considering Sam literally just renounced all other faiths like a second ago. Sam starts freaking out because now they have to find someone else to marry them within an hour. He calls around frantically, he's unable to find someone, and as he's getting ready with his brother Tim, he tells him about the mess that he's having with trying to find an officiant, and Tim just casually drops that their other brother is ordained and he can marry them.
My brother Luke is ordained. I had no idea. It really sounds too good to be true.
So with no other options left, he heads over to Luke to ask him to take over, and thankfully Luke obliges. Sam heads in, greets the pastor, and then subsequently fires him. I don't know why this is so funny, but this is making me laugh because, Sam does a great job at explaining the situation, but the pastor must be there being like, I came all the way here and now you're telling me that you're Muslim? Why did you hire me? You're still gonna pay me, right? Sam goes on to tell Herman that his brother Luke can marry them. He does mention that Luke is Christian, but he's not a pastor or priest, and he really is the best that they could do right now. Herman thankfully approves, despite Luke not being Muslim. Herman goes on to tell Citra that Luke will be the one to marry them, and Citra is happy because it reminds her of Friends.
It's just like that Friends show where Zoe married Chandler. It looks like that.
The two get married, and Sam and Citra finally have their first real kiss. Sam meets up with his mom, and she tells him that she was going to attend the conversion ceremony, but his grandmother fell ill, so she had to stay at home, and that's the only reason she did not go.
You sure?
I swear on the Holy Bible, my Lord up above, I was going to come.
I love you.
Citra is exhausted, but she knows what Sam is thinking about, and the two head in all giggly to experience their first 7 minutes in heaven. Moving on to Gino and Jasmine. Now, I do not really care about Gino and Jasmine. I do not know a lot of their history, so this is just gonna be a TLDR, sorry not sorry. The only thing that you guys need to know about this is it is wedding day. Gino does not know which fedora to wear, the gray one or the gray one, and someone unironically says the left one is the better choice, as if they were not exactly the same hat. And no, this is not some Devil Wears Prada blue versus cerulean shit. They are legitimately the same hat. Gino and Jasmine say their vows, they get married, hooray. Yeah! During the reception, Jasmine and Gino have a very special announcement. They are going to have a great time raw dogging it from now on because they're gonna try for a baby. Not now, but later, eventually. I don't know who in their right mind makes an announcement like this, but whatever. It happened, it's done. Let's move on. Let's head on over to see what Rob and Sophie are up to. Last episode, Sophie confronted Rob about the passive-aggressive memes he was posting that were clearly directed towards her, to which he responded by saying, those were not about you, but if the shoe fits. And then Sophie brings up the fact that she always has to be the one to say sorry, and their argument ends when Rob finally says he's sorry. Sophie says, I forgive you, and then Rob says, I forgive you too. Blew my mind, because Sophie has not done anything wrong, sir. Present day, Sophie and Rob are working on their fitness.
Let me know if my boob pops out.
If you are worried about a boob popping out, Might I suggest wearing a top where you don't have to worry about a boob popping out? That's like wearing some cheap-ass leggings from Shein, bending over, and then saying, "Whoa, let me know if you can see my underwear." Sophie tells us that the 90-day process has been exhausting, but she feels that the pair are finally at a place where they are able to see things from each other's perspectives. Did Sophie have a lobotomy while we were gone? Sophie heads out looking like a straight-up snack to meet up with her mother to pick out her bouquets. Rob drops her off and goes along his merry way.
So your mom finna be here, so I'm not gonna go. I feel like y'all can hang out without me.
No duh, your attitude has ruined literally every step of this wedding planning process for Sophie. Like, let her have one good thing. Off you my guy. Sophie tells us that Rob and her mother have not spoken since their big fight, and Sophie, being the delulu little dandelion that she is, says that she thinks it's because Rob and her are putting their relationship and their wedding first. Not because Rob is incapable of taking responsibility for literally anything. Sophie and Claire head into the shop and tell the associate that Sophie is looking for flowers to fit a pink and blue theme. Claire tells us that a part of her is so happy because her daughter is finally getting married, and then she remembers that she's getting married to Rob, and then
good feelings gone.
she says that if Rob acts a fool in these next coming days, she will roast him. The associate shows her these bright-ass, garish pink flowers, and Sophie says that she likes them.
I thought you was having baby pink.
I don't. Rob's sister's doing it all.
It would have helped if you sent me a picture before.
This allows a segue into Claire asking why Rob is not here. Sophie says it's obviously awkward since they had an argument, and Claire digs into Rob again.
You know that would have been an ideal situation for him to have just popped his head in and gone, "Hey Claire, hope you have a nice day, I'll pick Sophie up later," or something.
And honestly, I do think Claire digs into Rob a little excessively, but I do agree with her. Claire asks if they've been arguing, and Sophie basically says that they are just avoiding their issues until the wedding. Claire tells her that putting a wedding ring on Rob is not going to turn him into Prince Charming. And Sophie clearly thinks that it will.
I have hope that he'll change.
Claire is convinced that Sophie's gonna regret getting married, and Sophie tells her that she would not decide to marry him if she did not think that they could be happy. And she says that she truly believes that they can work out their issues. Which blows my mind, considering that in the entirety of their relationship, there has been not a moment where they've actually worked through their relationships as partners. Like, there's nothing that has happened to support you thinking this.
I think as long as we can work out the issues, because I don't think any couple has no issues.
I also hate how people always justify shitty behavior or staying in crappy relationships by saying all couples have issues. Like, yes, all couples have issues, but there is a line. The issue should be like, soak the dishes in warm water, or if you pee a little on the floor, do me a solid and wipe it up. It should not be, I wish you would talk to me and treat me with kindness and respect. Despite how I feel about all of this, Sophie says that she is a grown-ass woman, she can make her own decisions, and she's not gonna keep talking crap about the man she's about to marry in a few days. Sophie is back home with Rob, and she asks him if he has anything cute to wear the night before the wedding.
What you want me to do? Wear a banana hammock thong or something?
Yes.
Blah. It is not the idea of a man in a banana hammock that is making me want to vomit. It is the idea of it being Rob. They are packing up to head to Santa Barbara for their wedding. Sophie informs Rob now that her mom will be staying with them that night so that she does not have to book another night at a hotel. Rob is obviously less than pleased to be hearing this.
Things between me and Rob are great, but the relationship between Rob and my mom are not.
Of course your relationship seems great. You guys are literally ignoring all of your problems. Rob tells her that Claire can stay, but it's going to be 3 people and a dog in the studio, so he does not want to hear a peep about how small it is. Claire arrives and she gets her huge suitcase stuck in the doorway.
Oh, damn it. No one wants to help me, no?
You got a big ass
I'm coming. Hello.
suitcase.
Shut up and go help her. Claire tries to be civil and she thanks Rob for letting her stay with them, and Rob is like, oh, well, you can't miss the wedding.
We're gonna be all right?
It's just one night. It's not gonna be the end of the world or anything.
Claire says it is clear that he does not want her here, and Rob cuts her off to say that he is inviting her to stay in his home and to please keep the no space here comments to a minimum. Claire is annoyed because Rob is being so standoffish and not being a good host, and she confronts him in the most civil way that she can possibly muster.
Rob, like, I'm willing to, like, just forget everything that's happened.
So what do you want?
Well, it's just like
Well, I'm not
mate,
sure what
I
I'm...
walked in and literally, with no conversation, you just gone sat on the bed.
Claire starts to dig her heels in a little harder, but Sophie stops her to try and keep the peace, and Claire backs down.
He was just so rude. I felt very unwelcome. And, yeah, I'd rather stick an epidural in the middle of my forehead. I just didn't want to be there.
Sophie and Claire go to sit outside because Sophie can sense that Claire's about to go ham, and she does not want to jeopardize the wedding at this point. It blows my mind that all of these couples are just sitting there thinking, I just have to keep it together until the wedding. What do you think the marriage is gonna be after, if not more of this? Rob, surprising literally everyone, processes what Claire said and gets up to set up the air mattress for her.
Once Sophie and her mom were outside, I felt like the best that I could do was get everything ready. If I was lacking in being welcoming, maybe I'd put some more effort into being more welcoming.
I am genuinely so surprised. I mean, the bar is really low when it comes to him, but I still think this was a positive.
I actually handled that really badly. Really badly. I should have just ignored all the tension and just gone, yeah, I reacted.
How crazy is it that Claire was at a 10 and then Rob checked his ego for the first time ever? And that led Claire to stop being so mad at him for being shitty.
You excited, Rob? You're going to be a husband?
That's right. I've been waiting my whole life to be a husband.
That's really cute.
I have.
Oh.
The night ends on a good note, and the only difference is that Rob did something nice. Let's head on over to Clayton and Anali. Last episode, Anali did tell Clayton that there was a stripper at her bachelorette party, and Clayton was mad as hell because he literally laid down one ground rule for that party and it was no strippers. His reaction triggers Anali so bad that she starts packing her bags with the intention of going back home. It is now 7 hours until the wedding, and Anali is lounging on the bed in shorts and a tank, no urgency about getting ready for her marriage. She tells us that Clayton is being way too overdramatic. Strippers are canon in American bachelorette parties, and his inability to move forward with little things like this, it really scares her for the future because she feels like they are always gonna be fighting nonstop. She admits that when she makes choices that she later comes to regret, she does distance herself from the situation and has to talk to someone about it. Anali calls her mother Dora and tells her that she doesn't know what to do. Clayton found out about the stripper, he is mad at her, and she doesn't know if she wants to go through with this marriage. Her mother says she doesn't know why Clayton's being like this because Anali did nothing wrong, and Anali's like, yeah, I know. So I think it's just better if I come home. Her mother responds to her daughter, calling her saying, I don't know if I should get married on my wedding day with all couples fight. Suck it up. Anali and her mother say their goodbyes, and Anali tells us that she pretty much tends to always run away from her issues. We know, girl. You have gone to the bathroom every single time you and Clayton have had an argument. We know. It is 5.5 hours until the wedding day, and Clayton is starting to sweat. He says Anali may still be here, but her overreaction last night with her packing her suitcase, it makes him think that there is a slight chance that the wedding may not actually happen.
Hi, chiquis. Te amo mucho. Estoy esperándote al altar. Bye. Beso de cuy.
Those guinea pig kisses are not doing you any favors because I'm pretty sure she hates them. Clayton rolls out to meet Cameron, who asks him how things are. Clayton tells him that he did not get a lot of sleep because Anali has been stressing him out.
I sent her a voice note, so that's something.
The wedding's still on. So
yeah, I mean, as far as I know, the thing is, she hasn't replied.
Oh, crap.
The two head to the venue.
I want to look at where the magic happens. I'm not talking about sex, I'm talking about marriage.
Yeah, we know what you meant, dude. It's kind of weird that you thought you had to clarify that for us. He walks Cameron through the space and shows him the seat he reserved for his older brother Jeremy that passed away a few years ago in a car accident. Learning about his brother who passed away made me realize we don't We don't really know anything about these two. Clayton sits down next to the reserved seat and he starts crying because obviously he misses his brother and wishes he was here. Clayton tells Cameron that things have been really overwhelming. He checks his phone and sees that Anali still has not messaged him back, but Anali's mother has. That Clayton was upset about the stripper and that Anali just does not want Clayton to complain to her every single day.
I don't know what to take away from this message, really, besides, no, I don't know.
I feel really bad for Clayton right now. I mean, he asked Anali to not have a stripper at the bachelorette party, which I think is a very reasonable request. And she did. Whether she knew it or not, like, it is still hurtful to have kind of laid out that boundary and then have it be crossed. And now everyone is basically attacking him, saying that he's making a big deal out of nothing and that he's kind of the bad guy. Clayton tells Cameron that he knew the 90 days would be filled with ups and downs, but he never expected a down so severe that she was gonna pack her suitcase and threaten leaving.
Bride didn't show up. Like, what do you do in that?
You cry, and that's the worst day ever. It's as bad as it could possibly get, and if that's the case.
Damn, Cameron! You really couldn't think of any other ways to comfort this guy? It's wedding time. The guests are seated. Clayton, Cameron, and Brandy are up at the altar. They wait. And suddenly 25 minutes goes by after the wedding was supposed to start.
It's 5:53.
Yes, I know that.
Just a friendly reminder.
I like how Brandy is the one who surprised Anali with the stripper even though she knew Cameron said no, and she's not doing anything to help the situation. Like, you have feet, you can walk them over to Anali and talk to her. Like, telling him that Anali still isn't here? He knows! He's very well aware. Now on to Justin and Nikki. Last episode, Justin and Nikki celebrated their engagement ceremony. Nikki performed the bargain bin version of her own song, and Justin looked like he actually wanted to marry his fiance. It is a new day, and Justin is up at the crack of dawn, cracking some jokes with his crack.
Hey.
Nikki tells us that things have been going super well after the engagement ceremony, and that her and Justin even got to fandango each other's fandangles.
I'm happy, my coochie's happy, his pee-pee's happy, he's happy, everybody's happy.
Justin tells us he's sad because it's Nikki's last day in Moldova. He tells us that, of course, they have their fights, but that it's normal in relationships and that this trip definitely helped them get closer to each other. You want to know what else also helps? Wanting a partner instead of just another mommy. Before heading to the airport, they make one last stop for Nikki to say goodbye to Maya, and she gives Nikki a small parting gift filled with like knickknacks and some jewelry. And Nikki tells us that as a trans woman, it is incredibly rare to find a straight cis man with parents and friends that will accept them, and this is why she wants to try so hard to work out their differences. And I get it. I mean, I don't get it, but I can empathize with her situation and understand her reasoning as to why she kind of puts up with all of his crap. Nikki tells Justin that she didn't know what to expect on the trip, but she feels a lot better now that he has reintroduced her to his family, and that despite all of their issues, she sees that he's made a lot of steps in the right direction. I don't know what she's talking about. Maybe she's still dick drunk from the other night, but Justin hasn't really said or done anything to show he is going to try and prioritize her in the relationship, work through their intimacy issues, or stop getting her to cosplay as a trad wife, which she obviously does not want to do.
You cheat on me, I'm cutting your up.
I know.
Nikki goes on to say that she can only hope that things keep getting better. They get to the airport and they say their goodbyes. And that, my Panda Pals, is all for today. Not a lot happened in this one, but that's okay. I still had a good time. A bunch of cliffhangers, a lot of crazy stuff in the up next that I can't wait to see play out. Anyhow, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again next time. And as always, thanks for not letting me ride this train wreck alone. Bye.